Children, let us start a new chapter, Stars and the Solar System. Stars and solar systems. The objects which exist in the sky are called celestial objects. Stars, planet like Earth, satellite like Moon, asteroids, comets, meteorites, etc. are called celestial objects. The various celestial objects which we can see easily in the night sky are stars, planets, moon and meteors or shooting stars. An important characteristic of star is that they appear to twinkle in the sky. Planets do not twinkle because they are much more nearer to Earth than the stars. Moon is the most prominent object which we can see in the night sky. Sun. Sun is the star, consists mostly of hydrogen gas which is extremely hot. Now, the sun is the major source of heat and light energy for all planets and their satellite in the solar system. Temperature of sun is approximately 6000 degree Kelvin temperature. Sunlight takes about approximately 8 minutes to reach on the Earth's surface. And sun has diameter about 13,92,684 kilometers. It is named from on the messenger of the Roman god. Diameter is approximately 1.39 million kilometers and volume of the sun is 1.41 into 10 raised to 18 kilometers cube. Stars. Stars are the celestial objects that are extremely hot and have light of their own. Stars appear to be small because they are very, very far away from us. The sun is the star which is nearest to the Earth's surface. The sun looks much bigger and brighter because of it is much nearer to us than any other star. Though the stars are present in the sky even during the daytime, but we cannot see them during daytime because of the brightness of the sun or bright light of the sun. The stars appear to move in the sky from east to west direction. The apparent motion of the stars in the sky from east to west is due to rotation of the earth from west to east on its axis. So, stars appear to move from east to west while rotation of earth takes place from west to east. Sun looks much bigger and brighter because it is nearer to us than any other star. The revolution of Earth around the sun and its rotation about its axis is cause for the 4-minute earlier rising of the same star after each day. Means sun appears to rise 4 minutes earlier each consecutive day. The stars appear to move from east to west due to rotation of the earth on its axis from west to east. Hence, stars which appear to rise in the east in the evening appear to set in the west in the early morning. Surface temperature of stars determine color of star. Stars with low temperature or coldest star appears red. Stars with high temperature appear white and stars with very high temperature, that is hottest star, appear to blue in color. Sirius is the brightest star in the night sky after sun. Pole star. The star which appears stationary from the earth is called pole star. The pole star appears to be stationary and does not change its position with time because it lies on the axis of the rotation which is fixed in space and does not change with the time. The unit of measuring distances in universe, light year. The distance between various celestial objects like stars and planets are expressed in the unit of light year. The speed of light is approximately 3 into 10 to the power of 5 km per second, or you can say 3 lakhs km per second. 1 light year is the distance traveled by light in 1 year. 1 light year mathematically is equal to 9.46 into 10 raised to 12 kilometer. Light year is the unit of distance. After the sun, the nearest star is Proxima Centauri. The distance between Proxima Centauri or Alpha Centauri is 4.3 light years. The distance of Sun from Earth is 150 million kilometer or 1.5 into 10 raised to 18 kilometer. This distance is also known as 1 astronomical unit. The distance of the Sun from the Earth may be said to be about 8 light minutes. Astronomical unit is the unit for measuring distances and size of celestial bodies. Planets. Planets are large celestial objects which revolve around the Sun in close elliptical path. Planets revolve around the Sun in definite elliptical path called orbit. The 8 planets of solar system are Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. A planet is made up of rock and metal or gas. Planets do not have their own light, so they do not twinkle like the stars. Planets reflect sunlight that is incident on them. All the planets revolve around the Sun and also rotates on its axis. A day for a planet equal to time taken it to complete one rotation around its own axis. A year for a planet equals to time taken by it to complete one revolution around the Sun in its orbit. There are two main categories of planets according to composition and size. They are small rocky planets or terrestrial planets. They have solid and rocky surface. Example, Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars are considered under this category. And giant or the Jovian planets, they are very large in size and made up of largely gases. These are Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. Let us see some differences between terrestrial and Jovian planets. Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars are terrestrial planets. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune are the Jovian planets. Terrestrial planets are close to Sun. Jovians are far from the Sun. Terrestrial planets have small mass, small radii. Jovian planets have large mass and large radii. Terrestrial planets are rocky, solid surface, having solid surface rocky, and Jovian planets have gaseous surface. Terrestrial planets have high density, they have low density. Terrestrial planets have slow rotation, Jovian planets have fast rotation. Terrestrial planets have weak magnetic field, while Jovian planets have strong magnetic field. Terrestrial planets have no ring and Jovian planets have many rings in their structure. Terrestrial planets have few moons and Jovian planets have many moons. Now, inner planets. A planet whose orbit lies within the asteroid belt is called inner planets. Example, Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars are inner planets. Outer planets, a planet whose orbit lies outside the asteroid belt is called outer planets. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune are outer planets. The outer planets have several moons and a solar system of rings. Revolution and rotation. Period of revolution. The time taken by a planet to complete one full revolution around the Sun is called its period of revolution. And period of rotation, the time taken by a planet to rotate a full 360 degree on its axis is called period of rotation. And axis of rotation, it is an imaginary line going from North Pole to South Pole. This is the picture of our solar system, Sun and the 8 planets. Mercury. Mercury is the planet nearest to Sun. It has no moon. If you weigh 100 pounds on Earth, you will weigh only 37 pounds on Mercury. It takes less than 88 Earth days for Mercury to orbit around the Sun. One day lasts about 180 Earth days. The temperature rises above 800 degree Fahrenheit, while on the dark side it falls rapidly to minus 300 degree Fahrenheit. Venus or Shukra. Venus is the second planet from the Sun. It is the brightest planet of the solar system. Venus is known as Earth's twin sister because of its similar size and proximity to each other. Venus has longer day than year. It takes 243 days for Venus to make a rotation, and it takes 225 days approximately to complete one revolution around the Sun. Earth, our home. The Earth is estimated to be 4.5 billion years old. It travels through space at 660,000 miles per hour. The Earth weighs 6,588 into 10 raised to 21 tons. The Earth is not round. It is an oblate spheroid, flattened at the pole and bulging at the equator. Rotation and revolution of Earth. The Earth rotates or spins on an imaginary axis which passes through its north and south poles. The axis of rotation of Earth is slightly tilted with respect to the plane of its orbit around the Sun. An important consequence of the rotation of the Earth on its axis is that it causes day and night on the Earth's surface, and also important consequence of motion of tilted Earth around the Sun is that it causes different seasons on the Earth, such as summer, winter, spring, autumn, etc. Mars or Mangal. Mars is the fourth closest planet to the Sun. It is easily be seen from Earth. Mars is red because of its rusty nature. There is a lot of iron in the soil, and the air on the Mars has made it turn red. Mars orbits the Sun every 687 Earth days. The Martian day is about half an hour longer than Earth. In winter, nighttime temperature can drop as low as minus 191 degree Fahrenheit. Jupiter. Jupiter is the largest planet in our solar system. Jupiter's volume is large enough to contain 1300 planets the size of Earth. Jupiter rotates faster than any planet in the solar system. It rotates so quickly that the days are only 10 hours long. But it takes 12 Earth years for the Jupiter to complete an orbit around the Sun. If you weigh 100 pounds on Earth, you will weigh 264 pounds on Jupiter. Saturn, or it is also known as Shani. Saturn is the second largest planet. Only Jupiter is larger. Saturn has 7 thin, flat rings around it. The planet can be seen from Earth with unaided eyes, but its rings cannot be seen. It is so light that it could actually float on water if there was a big ocean enough to hold it. It takes about 29.46 Earth years for Saturn to orbit around our Sun. Saturn rings are made up of billions of pieces of rocks and dust. Saturn is a giant ball of gas, but it does not have a solid inner core. A 100-pound object on Earth would weigh 116 pounds on Saturn. Uranus. Uranus is the seventh planet from the Sun. Because of the strange way it spins, night on some part of Uranus can last for more than 40 years. Uranus is the coldest planet in the solar system. The planet's most extraordinary feature is the tilt of its rotational axis, which is almost perpendicular to the plane of the ecliptic, which means that it alternately has its north pole and its south pole turned towards the Sun. Uranus and Neptune are both known as ice giants. It has orbital period or revolution of 84 years. Neptune, the name derived from the Roman god of sea. Neptune is the eighth and farthest known planet. It is 17 times the mass of Earth. Neptune is the stormiest planet. The wind there blow up to 1240 miles per hour. That is 3 times as fast as Earth hurricanes. Neptune is a sea blue color due to presence of traces of methane gas in its outermost region. Neptune has 14 known moons. Neptune is 30 times farther from Sun as is from the Earth. It goes around the Sun once every 165 approximately Earth years. Phases of moon. The different shapes of the disk of moon observed during a month are called the phases of the moon. You can see in the pic of different phases of the moon. The moon is the natural satellite of Earth. Moon is the closest celestial object to the Earth. It takes 29.5 days for moon to rotate the Earth. The surface of the moon is covered with hard and loose dirts, craters and mountains. Since there is no air and water, life is impossible on moon's surface. The moon completes one rotation on its axis and it completes one revolution around the Earth. Formation of the phases of moon. Due to its revolution around the Earth, when it is at different position in its path, the apparent disk of the moon changes, which gives rise to its phases. When the moon is between the sun and the earth, the illuminated portion of the moon is away from the earth and we are not able to see the moon. We call this day as new moon day. With time, the position of the moon changes and illuminated portion of the moon exposed to the earth gradually increases. Thus, the size of the apparent disk of moon increases gradually from a crescent to a full round when the earth lies between the moon and the sun. We call this day as full moon day. Let us understand once again phases of moons and moon's light. We are able to see the moon because sunlight falling on the moon reflected towards the earth. The day on which moon is not visible is called new moon day. The day on which whole bright disk of moon is visible, we call it as full moon day. We have one new moon and one full moon day during a month. As moon revolves around the earth once every month and moves around the sun along with earth, different amount of sunlit surface are turned towards the earth, leading to the change in the appearance of moon and formation of phases of the moon. In this pic, you can see the surface of the moon. Moon's surface is dusty and barren. There are many craters of different sizes. It also has a large number of steep and high mountains. Some of these are as high as on Earth. Moon has no atmosphere and no water. Solar eclipse. As seen from the Earth, a solar eclipse occurs when the moon passes between the sun and the Earth, and the moon fully or partially blocks the sun. This can happen only at new moon, when the sun and the moon are in conjunction as seen from the earth. In total eclipse, the disk of sun is fully obscured by the moon, and in partial and annular eclipses, only part of sun is obscured. Lunar eclipse. A lunar eclipse occurs when the moon passes directly behind the earth into its umber. This can occur only when the sun, the earth and the moon are aligned exactly or very closely so with the earth in the middle. Hence, a lunar eclipse can only occur in the night of a full moon. The type and length of eclipse depend upon the moon's location relative to its orbital nodes. Unlike a solar eclipse, which can only be viewed from a certain relatively small area of the world, a lunar eclipse may be viewed from anywhere on the night side of the earth. A lunar eclipse lasts for few hours, whereas a total solar eclipse lasts for only a few minutes at any given place. Due to the smaller size of moon's shadow, also unlike solar eclipses, lunar eclipses are safe to view without any eye protection or special precautions, as they are not brighter than the full moon itself. Constellations. A group of stars that has a recognizable shape is called constellations. Earth rotates on its axis. This makes most constellations appear to rise in the east and set in the west during the night. Major constellations are Ursa Major, Ursa Minor, Cassiopeia. Zodiac signs has been derived from these constellation shapes. Ursa Major or Great Bear. The Ursa Major constellation consists of 7 bright stars arranged in a pattern resembling like Big Bear. It is also known as Big Bear. Ursa Major constellation is visible during the summer season. The Ursa Major is shaped like a ladle and it is also known as Big Dipper. It consists of 7 stars placed in the form of dipper. In India, it is popularly known as Saptrishi Mandal. You can see Ursa Major or Great Bear. It is also in the shape of Big Dipper. Ursa Minor. Ursa Minor is also known as Little Bear. It is a constellation in the northern sky. Like the Great Bear, the tail of Little Bear looked like the handle of a ladle. The brightest star form a shape that is known as Little Dipper. It contains the northern celestial pole and the pole star Polaris. It is one of the 48 constellations. Orion. Another popular constellation is the Orion, which is shaped in the form of a hunter. The 3 middle stars in the Orion lead to a brighter star in the sky called Sirius. The Orion constellation is visible to us in the sky during winter season. Cassiopeia is the constellation thought to represent queen seated on a chair. Cassiopeia is another prominent constellation in northern sky. It is visible during winter in the early part of night. It looks like distorted letter W or M. Cassiopeia constellation consists of 5 main stars. Other members of solar system. Apart from the sun and the planets, the solar system also consists of celestial bodies such as meteors, comets, and artificial satellites. Meteoroids are much smaller than asteroids and comets. Comets is a celestial object consisting of a nucleus of ice and dust, and when near the sun, a tail of gas and dust particle pointing away from the sun is formed. Comets contain dust, ice, carbon dioxide, ammonia, methane, and many more gases. Scientists call them as snowy dirt balls. Icy nucleus, when evaporates and get blown into the space by solar wind pressure, they forms the tail of the comet. The best known periodic comet is the Halley's Comet. It appears every 76 years, seen in 1986 and expected to seen in 2062. Asteroids. An asteroid is a small rocky object that is in the solar system. Many of the asteroids in solar system in orbiting the sun between Mars and Jupiter called asteroid belt. Asteroids are rocky fragments left over from the formation of solar system about 4.6 billion years ago. It is between Mars and Jupiter. Meteor. Meteor is a small ball of light that appears in the night sky briefly. It is also known as shooting star. It is said that if you wish on a shooting star, your wish will come true. The meteoroid, when it falls down into the Earth atmosphere, it burns up into a meteor or a shooting star. Meteorite. A meteorite is a small chunk of metal or rock that fall down to Earth or any other planet. An iron meteorite weighing about 60,000 kg is the largest meteorite ever found. It still lies where it was found in 1920 at Hoba Farm near Grootfontein, Namibia. Surprisingly, there is no crater because the meteorite entered the atmosphere at a long, shallow angle and was slowed down by the atmospheric drag. Natural satellites. Satellite is a celestial bodies like moon that revolves around the planet. Moon is the natural satellite of the Earth. The satellite revolve around the planets due to gravitational pull of the planet. The satellites have no light of their own. They reflect sunlight. Mercury and Venus does not have any satellite. Artificial satellites. Man-made object which revolve around planet is called artificial satellite. They are much closer than Moon. It transmits radio, telephone, television signals. It helps us in sending back information for weather forecasting, giving advance warning of floods, cyclones, etc. It also helps in military surveillance. They also used for surveying the natural resources of the Earth. They are used to collect information about other planets, stars, galaxies, etc. Indian satellites and others. Indian Space Research Organization (ISRO) is in charge of Indian satellites. The first satellite made in India, Aryabhat, was launched in 1975 by a Soviet rocket. The world's first artificial satellite is the Sputnik 1 and was launched by Soviet Union in 1957. Geostationary satellite. A geostationary satellite is an Earth orbiting satellite placed at an altitude of approximately 35,800 kilometers, or you can say 22,300 miles, directly over the equator, that revolves in the same direction as the Earth rotates, that is from west to east. The time period of revolution of geostationary satellite around Earth is equal to time period of rotation of Earth on its axis, that is 24 hours. These satellites stay in some relative position to Earth's surface, so broadcasting station does not lose contact with the receivers. Geosynchronous satellites. In these satellites, the geosynchronous orbit is there with an orbital period of same as the Earth rotation period. Such a satellite returns to the same position in the sky after each sidereal day, and over the course of the day traces out a path in the sky that is typically some form of analemma. Black hole. A black hole is a place in the space where gravity pulls so much that even light cannot get out. The gravity is so strong because matter has been squeezed into a tiny space. This can happen when a star is dying. Because no light can get out, people can't see black holes. They are invisible. Nebula, a cloud of gas and dust in outer space, visible in the night sky either as an indistinct bright patch or as a dyke silhouette against other luminous matter.